Hello and welcome to episode number 2. This is the data mining coding session series. And what I am doing here is trying to create or implement study bots. A study bot is like an indicator, but that is not constrained to have an input data source from a single market of a single exchange, but can see all of your exchanges, all of the markets, and you can combine all the data and produce your output. Okay, so it's going to be much more powerful than a simple indicator bot. So let's do it. The first episode I worked on I'm going to close this because I don't need it. I work on the nodes of indicator bots. So now we can study bots and set up all the relationships and also work at the code level of the user interface. So today we are going to work at the code that is at the task server. Okay, so for that I'm going to open a new Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to do it data mining here, because we don't want to see everything else. In fact, no, not a good idea. I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to come here and open one of these workspaces. Task server can be, task server 1. So we will open this guy. Because this is already prepared for working on the task server. Okay. So I'm going to close this and this. And here we have our projects. And we're talking about data mining, okay? Specifically what is inside here. So we have this indicator bot folder with all these files, including these special indicators that are coded directly in JavaScript and not at the UI. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy this folder. I'm going to paste it here. So then I'm going to rename it. This is going to be a study bot. Okay. So we have an indicator, sensor, and study bot. But this Bollinger is not really needed, so I will delete it. This is also not needed. And this might be needed. I don't know. But essentially I will have to go one by one, adapting it to what I actually want to do. Okay, then I will see how many of these are actually needed, and then I will have to modify the project schema to add those new modules so that they are instantiated for us. Okay, so we don't need any of this. That's why I'm closing this. Okay, so now that we're here, execution starts here. Okay, so the first thing that I would like to do is to see who is instantiating this. Probably nobody, because this is automatically instantiated because it's declared at the project schema. Okay, so let's find everywhere that it says indicator here, which is surprisingly not too many places, and replace it by study. Okay, then we are also going to rename this as single market study bot. Great. So I wouldn't really like to duplicate all this stuff just like crazy. But we will see how we solve this. We will see. Because probably most of this is the same, okay? But I don't know. Then we have this multi-time frame daily and multi-time frame market. My question is if this is indicator dependent or not. Well, there is only one mention of a function with indicator, otherwise it looks like something that is not actually related to that. Okay, but this functionality is about what? This model deals with daily files. There are 5, for example, in 1 hour. It also assumes that data dependencies are in daily files, 1 file for each time frame. Okay. Then we have this multi-time frame market. Indicator mentions also this is referencing on indicator output, so it's referencing this guy. Okay, and then we have indicator output, that has 3 mentions of indicator, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay, so this is going to be the most difficult part because I believe that these two are not related. These are related to conversions of data sets. This model is about converting 1 minute daily type of data set into multi-time frame daily. So I think that this is not executed. This is not executed while we run an indicator, but the way to prove it is to run an indicator and to see if this is required or not. Okay, so probably I should do that test, but of course it's not because it's from 1 minute to multi-time frame daily, from 1 minute to multi. So this is not part of what we need here. So I'm just going to delete it. Okay, so another thing that I need to analyze is that there is a bot that is already feeding himself or itself from multiple markets, multiple exchanges, and that's the trading bot. Okay, so I need to figure out what the trading bot is doing. I need to figure out what the indicator bot is doing, and then bring that logic from the trading bot into the study bot. Okay, so where is the trading bot? We have the task server here. Okay, algorithmic trading, TS, bot module, this guy. So we have a trading system, trading strategy, stages, simulation, record position. I think it's process. Probably I will do this in another Visual Studio so that I can switch between one and the other and even run both at the same time. So let's open one more. Put this here and put this here. So we don't need this. But here, algorithmic trading, bot modules, low frequency trading, trading process. Okay. So this trading process should be equivalent to probably what this guy does and this guy. Okay. So my best strategy here is to debug, because otherwise just reading the code is going to be more difficult. So what I'm going to do is to debug this code, like very calmly. Just do it. So I have here a strategy to debug, which is good. Then I'm going to run this process. Run this process, and from here I'm going to hit debug. Okay, so here I'm going to start the session, and soon we will be here. So we are being called from this method of the trading bot, start process framework. Okay. So what do we have here? Status dependencies. Hold on. Where are we? Okay. Okay, these are sorry. These are modules that we have, status dependencies and our data dependencies. These are modules that have that information. In the other case, if we are multi-time frame market, well, we have the same thing. Status dependencies, blah, blah, blah. It would be better if this were called status dependencies module, like here. Because this is evidently those modules, because I have finalized, initialized. Okay, here is called module. I'm going to fix this because I don't like this being wrong. So just give me a second. This is module from now on. Okay, good. And then what happens here? Set up the trading engine module. Initialize the process time and date. Trading process date. Everything is related to trading here. Session heartbeat, blah blah blah. Okay. Data dependency functions. Build data structures. This is our guy. So where are we here? Because maybe we enter here or maybe not. I don't know. So if I wait, blah blah blah. Current time frame. Here we are in the case of market files, which is not our case. So here we are in daily time frames, and this is the second option. So once we process this, it seems that we are sending here. Let's continue. We are sending into here an empty object, an empty object, and an empty object. That this is going to be the result, okay, of the processing of this function. All of these are inputs: current time frame, level, 01 value, this, multi-time frame data files, data dependencies module. Where is this coming from? Multi-time frame data files. Okay, but I don't understand where this comes from, so let's check it out. There is a call for process daily files here. Hold on. As there is a call here. Okay, this is a map that is then filled with information when we call process market files. Process market files build this stuff. What is this data files? It's another map. Okay, this is more strange because I don't see what is the point of this exactly. Okay, but once this goes to build data structures, it comes out with these guys ready that are empty now. Then everything else looks like related to trading. Check if there are candles, blah, blah, blah. And here we go to the output management, and we send this stuff because it's the information that the trading bot is going to use. So all we need to do is to recreate this chart, market, and exchange object structures so that we can have a similar input for the new type of bot, of study bots. Okay? Okay, so let's try to figure out the mystery of this. What is these data files? What I'm going to do is going to run this again and get inside here and see, or maybe we'll search for this. Here it is, daily files, data files. So yeah, data file is coming from the outside. But it doesn't make sense because it is regenerated here. Looks like it is something that is not. So it comes as a parameter. But then it's completely reassigned, which overrides whatever coming as a parameter. It doesn't make sense. Then it is filled with stuff inside, and itself goes into the multi-time frame data files. Then it's come as a parameter again, but then it's override again, then it's set again and put inside again, then it comes a parameter again, and again. Then there are other versions of these data files that are unrelated to the ones that I sent as a parameter. Okay, so it seems to me that this is unnecessary, but we need to check who is calling this function. But it might be that it's called by trading process, but also something else, somebody else. So who is calling this function? Here is trading process, the learning process, and portfolio process. I bet all of these are doing the same trick. Yes. But it's not that I like to diverge, but I need to fix this. So we're going to fix this. Remember that we are sending this as a parameter. Okay, we are sending it here to market files and to daily files. Okay, so we can correct this by removing from here, remove it from here, remove it from here, and remove it from here. So that means that I can delete it from here, but I have to do like this here. So I will remove it from here. And from here. Okay, enough. So we're going to do the same work here. Remove it from here, and from here, from here, from here. Okay, so I'm just going to test um, if this strategy runs well. Um, because I made changes in the way that the things work. So I will come to platform, my data storage, project, algorithmic trading, and I will delete all this folder. Then I will come here, run. Okay, it looks like it's working. Okay, this was configured for 2 days. And here is the new data. It looks well. So I'm going to stop this and I'm going to record a commit here where I fix it some maintenance of this code plus new study bot. Okay, so this is a checkpoint we might want to come back later. So we can close this guy and this guy. You can stay there. So now we know that the only thing we need is this multi-time frame data files that is going to feed this function and it's going to return us these guys. They are the ones that we need with all the data of all the markets and exchanges. Okay, so there is some understanding now of what is going on. How this is resolved internally, I don't really care, because all I want is this chart, market, and exchange objects. Okay, these are the objects that users will be able to use as conditions and formulas. So that's the only thing that I care about here. All right. Okay, so this is more or less understood. It's just executing two functions based on if we are processing daily files or candle files. Well, there's some other call here for processing single files. Okay, so this is more or less how this works. Okay, I get it. Then let's go back to this guy. So this guy kind of represents the call of one of these functions, and this indicator output represents the building of the output. So once we arrive here, we are supposed to have, hold on, this is run time frame by time frame. Indicator output, where is it? So there is an execution of this guy for every single time frame. Okay, so once the execution arrives here, it arrives with the data files probably we will see now. Let's debug this guy. Let's run this. And to run this, we are going to use one of these guys. That is going to be this debug. What is wrong? Okay, maybe I'm going to delete this thing that I created because it's the only thing that I haven't tested before. So we will write this. Okay. So then, in order to activate this guy, I will run these tasks. I'm not sure why this is stuck, because it shouldn't. Okay, it's not stuck, it's just building all the data, and it just takes times because it's on debug mode. Okay, so it's just working on it, but I'm not sure. I'm not really building the data, it's just fetching the data. Okay, no, it's my bad. I am at the study bot with my breakpoint, okay? So that is never going to work. I should have put the breakpoint here. So let's stop this. Nothing to stop. Let's run this again. And debug. Then we'll need to wait until this retrieves the next candle. There we go. There we go. Okay, so in data files, we are receiving one file which has a key and an array as values. These are probably candles because this is based on candles. So yeah, the indicator bot is even more restricted because it can only process information of a single market, of a single exchange, of a single time frame. So it cannot even digest information from other time frames, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous. So this means that this guy is receiving these data files yeah, there could be multiple data files. If you have more than one data dependency. Yes, that's why here we have the concept of data dependency. But then, so we need a new version of this module for the study output that is going to receive directly these three guys, like market, exchange, chart, market, and exchange. So you can use anything of this. Okay, so the first phase here is about checking that we have everything. So here it also makes some of the stuff that we already made, okay? That is inflating the data sets, inflate data files, okay? We will not need to do that. Validate outputs, data sets. Well, we probably need to do this. Node branch to array. Okay, let's see what this is doing step by step. Processing daily files, false. We are at time frame 24 hours. Okay, so data dependencies, we have only one, okay? And we will need this array to get the map. From the map, the files for each data dependency. That's what this guy is going to do. But in my case, all the dependencies have already been worked out, so this is not going to be needed. So validate data dependencies. We are not going to need this. Then output data sets. Let's get all the outputs. Validate this. What does this mean? Okay, that we have a reference parent node, blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Bot node indicator. So there's a task we need to do to put out all these libraries, like in here, the study bot, okay? But I don't know which are the libraries or where they are. Single market functions. Oh, I got lost. Why am I executing this again? Well, I don't know. But there is a validation of the outputs. Inflate data file that we will not need that. During the first phase, we need to generate the data of the different product this process produces an output. So this loop is going to exist. And then build the data. there is a procedure, data building, and then there is a calculations procedure. So here you have products, main dependency, record definition, another node, current day, okay, then the files are written and then it's finished. But essentially, the core of the work is going to happen in these two functions. Function library single market function. So everything goes inside single market functions, it seems, as well as the validations that we already ran. Single market function. So data building procedure is about what? Data building procedure is about okay, we receive the products object. Based on that information, we will evaluate user supply code and format in order to build a new set of transformations. So my question is, can I reuse this or not? Variable results. Here we are going to execute the user-defined code. So the get element function, get timestamp element. Then here we run the procedure initialization code. Boom. And the other we have procedure loop code. Boom. So all of what we are doing is at the product, we are creating a product object that then we are going to end up returning the results. Okay, so my guess is that we can reuse this function as long as we add here together with products, charts, market, and chart markets and exchange objects. If we add that here, then that means that is going to be available at the evals and everything should work the same. That was the data building procedure. Then we have the calculations procedure. This function has as an input an array of JSON objects, and it adds calculated property to complete the set of properties that will be available for formula. So I think this is even easier because there's nothing to change here. So all of my problems are into running this data building procedure and passing in here the information that we need. Okay. So it looks like it's not going to be that difficult. Yes, we are going to need to create we are going to need to iterate through. Probably I will not need this guy or this guy. I'm going to replace it for something similar. Sorry, to this guy, to the study process. And the study process, what it's going to do is iterate, or it's going to build whatever it is building, and once it's finished, it's going to recreate the loop that we are doing here in order to execute an indicator output. Okay, so we are going to keep a copy of this as a template for study output, where we're going to send this individual stuff, and but we are not going to send the data files for instead we are going to send market, exchange, and chart object, and we are going to remove all the stuff that is in here and pass it through this build function and keep the rest of the stuff and expect that everything is going to be okay. So now we have a plan. Okay, we have a plan. It involves quite a lot of changes, so I'm going to leave that plan for the next episode, because otherwise it's going to be hard to finish this on one run. Okay, so to summarize this episode, what we have done is to analyze how the trading bot is working, because the trading bot already does this of working with these three different objects: exchange, chart, and market. And we analyze how an indicator bot works, but an indicator bot works only with the data files belonging to a specific time frame of a market, so it's very limited. Then we built a plan of how we are going to do this, and we are going to do it at the next episode. So thank you for watching this one, and see you next time.